Hey, what's up? My name is Andrew, and here are 5 tips that you should know before you get into automotive photography. Tip number 1, location and location scouting. So location is super important. I would actually rate it more important than the car or the subject itself, because you can have a crazy cool car, and if the background does not look good and it's cluttered and messy, then the photo is not going to be as clean or cool as it could be as if you had a beautiful sunset or a cool building in the background or something like that. So the background is definitely important. And this is how I do my location scouting for photos. Is number 1, the easiest way to do is look at other photographers' pages in your area. And hey, sometimes you can shoot them a DM and they might tell you where that location is, but do not get upset if they don't tell you where that location is, because a lot of people will not tell you, and that's totally fine. You can also find really good locations by just driving around. Just look around while you're driving and see if there's anything interesting that might catch your eye or might be good for a background. I can't tell you how many times I have driven past a spot and I've never really looked around, but when I do, it turns out there's actually really cool spots I could shoot cars there. And lastly, this way is a little bit more tricky because you do need to know your surroundings and your area a little bit more for this one, but that's just going on Google Maps or Apple Maps and going with the Street View Finder and just keep on tapping until you find something cool, then drive to it and check it out. Now, I highly recommend checking out the location before shooting there for the first time. I can't tell you how many times I have driven to a spot thinking that's gonna be open and they're doing construction, and there goes my entire photo shoot, and I have to find a new location super fast that's close and hope that I can still catch it for sunset. And speaking of sunset, that's actually gonna bring us into tip number 2. Time of day plays such a huge role when you're doing automotive photography. Now, obviously, you're gonna wanna be able to shoot at all times of day and all times of night, but if you are just starting out, you're gonna wanna specifically aim for either sunset or sunrise. I prefer sunset, and I still try to push all my photos to do sunset only. Sometimes that doesn't work out, and you gotta do what you gotta do. But sunset during that golden hour, about 1 hour or 45 minutes before the sun sets, is perfect. Now, here's a little tip for you. Almost everybody runs late, and there's usually traffic. So if you want to be there an hour before sunset, tell the person you want to be there an hour 20 or an hour 30 before sunset. That way you can get there, put the car in the position that you want it to be in, or if you hit traffic or if something happens, you have ample amount of time to still move the car around and get your photos, and that way it's not too dark. Tip number 3, this is more so goes for the beginners. If you've been doing automotive photography for a while, you're gonna know this one, but you need a CPL. I don't think you could do car photography without it. It is extremely difficult. What a CPL does is it gets rid of all of the reflections on the glass and the paint, giving you a more professional and clean looking photo of the car. That way you're not getting a bunch of reflections or anything on the paint or the glass. Tip number 4, is there anything cool about the cars? Especially if you're just getting into cars, you might not know the cool little details or things about the car before you shoot it. So I suggest going on to the dealership's website or even Googling the car and put photos and seeing if there's any cool pieces like carbon fiber or special emblems. Make sure if it's an anniversary series, you get photos of those logos, or if it's a special edition. Those can make your photos really pop, getting those tiny little details. Tip number 5, that's gonna be the angles of the car. If you are just starting out, sometimes trying to find a new angle or shooting position of the car is really difficult. So what you could do is just go onto other photographers' pages, or my page myself. I'll put my Instagram right here. Go and copy somebody else's angles and do the things that they have done that look cool and that catch your eye, but give your own twist on it in the edit. That way it's not looking the same as their photo. And those are 5 beginner tips that I would tell anybody that is just getting into automotive photography that are a must. Obviously, there's more tips and other things for more advanced people, but those are just the 5 beginner ones that I highly suggest. I'm gonna go ahead and put in the description below my Instagram. That way you can go and follow and check out the angles of cars that I shoot so you can copy it. And hey, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you like this video, and peace.